Hello and welcome to EchoRuler. This is a quick demonstration of how to use the interface of EchoRuler, a sonic tape measure app for the iPhone. This app will work with any iOS more recent than iOS 10.3 and also with any iPhone more recent and including iPhone 5. So let's launch the app by pressing this yellow icon. And here comes the user interface. The user interface is really quite simple, and buttons are contained all on this one screen right here. All the buttons are color-coded to help the user keep track of how to use the app, and it's very intuitive. A dark gray button, like you see here, indicates that the user cannot yet interact with that button, while a light gray button, like you see here, means that the user can interact with the button, but that it has not yet been pressed. If you do have any questions about how to use the app, you can always press the information button right here, and the user documentation will appear. By the way, this app works completely offline. It does not need any Wi-Fi, GPS, or cell connection to work. There are no ads associated with this app. Once you buy it, it is yours. There's no registration, there are no notifications. You just buy it and have it. We can briefly look at the documentation here. There are quite a few pages. Specifications on how accurate the app is, and also descriptions of how to use it. It's pretty intense and pretty thorough, so this is a good place to go if you want to figure out more about how to use the app. But really, for the most part, the app is usable without going to the documentation. So let's go ahead and close it. There are three main types of buttons to help configure the app before using it. These are the range button, the unit selection buttons, and the helper button. So the range button is used to help set the range so that the app has an easier time determining distance when using the app. So if we press the set range button, you'll see that there are a couple of ranges we can pick from. And then once we pick our range, we can simply save it, and that will be the range used to operate the app. There's also a helper toggle here. If it's green, that indicates that as we're using the app, some pop-ups will appear, and these pop-ups will help also show you how to use the app, so you don't have to dig through the documentation as well. We're going to leave the helper on for this demonstration, but once you become familiar with using the app, you can turn the helpers off, and you don't have to worry about them at that point. And that's pretty much it for the configuration. Because the app uses sound for measurements, it is important that the environment be relatively quiet before using the app. This status box right here that I'm pointing to helps the user know if the environment is too loud. We only want to take measurements when the status is green. The app can work if the status is not fully read, and even if fully read, the app will try to work, but the readings might not be correct. So it's recommended that the status be green or not fully read. To begin with, we will first calibrate the app by allowing the environment to be quiet and then pressing the Run Calibrate button. And you can see here one of the helpers comes up and just kind of gives you some information on what to do for calibration in text, and it also tells you how to turn these on and off. So let's go ahead and press OK, and this will run the calibration. You'll hear some clicking, that's the calibration. After the calibration is done, you will notice that many of the buttons are now gray, light gray, that previously were dark gray. So we can now use these buttons to take measurements at different positions for the app. Because there are so many echoes in an environment, hundreds really, the app needs to take measurements at several different positions to help determine which is the correct one. A later video will show this in action more, but for right now we're just going to go through the buttons and show the general usage. Just like the calibration step needed a quiet environment, all of these buttons need a quiet environment as well. When actually using the app, for each button press, you should move the phone to a new position on the wall. But for this demonstration, we will not be doing that, so the results will not be correct in this video. but we're just trying to go through generally how you interact with the user interface, and a subsequent video will show how to actually position the phone better. So we're going to wait for the ambient noise to become quiet, and then we're going to go through and press the top, left, center, right, and bottom buttons. So we can now press the find length button, and the phone will try to figure out a distance here. And here it did. Actually, all the positions came up green. If the phone has a hard time finding a distance at one of the positions, it will show up red, and the phone will indicate for that position where it thought the distance the echo came from, what distance the echo came from. So it did actually come up with a reading here, and if we want to see that reading in different units, we simply press these buttons down here, and we can cycle through and see the reading in different units. So that is EchoRuler. A following video will more clearly demonstrate how to actually hold the phone on the wall. This was simply a walkthrough to show how to press the buttons and how the buttons operate and what to expect when using the app. Thank you, and we'll have more videos coming up.